What is the secret to being content? I think it's something we're all kind of having to wrestle with as we wade through stay-at-home orders and all of the things that have just flipped our world upside down from this pandemic that we're working our way through. Things that we loved are now gone, or restaurants that we visited all the time are kind of taken away from us. And I think we've all been wrestling in our own hearts, maybe in a more direct way than usual, issues of contentment. And the trap that we usually fall into when it comes to contentment is to think that if I can fix my external set of circumstances, then I will be content. If this trial is removed, or if this blessing is added, if the kids would just get along, if the weather would just be different, if the list is endless. If something external were to change favorably, we would say, well, then I can be content. Well, that's not exactly what the Apostle Paul says in Philippians chapter 4. He says that he's learned the secret to being content. And as we continue reading through that chapter, he doesn't say that the secret is in a newfound hobby that you can take up that'll really be fulfilling. He doesn't say that it's in finding a new Netflix series that just captures you and you can binge watch it to your heart's delight. That's not the secret to being content. What he describes in Philippians chapter 4 is actually a relationship with the Savior that is so satisfying that whether he has abundance or whether he has a little, whether he's free to move about as he pleases or whether he's in prison, in whatever circumstance he's in, he's learned the secret to being content. He goes on later to say that he can do all things through Christ who strengthens him. The all things there is being content in not being dependent on our circumstances for joy, for true satisfaction. It's oftentimes easier to see this in our kids than it is to see in ourselves. We see our children so unwilling to be content in their circumstances, and as parents, we correct them and hope that they can just flip the switch and be content magically and all of a sudden. We oftentimes don't see it in ourselves. What is that thing that you are trying to get contentment out of that isn't Jesus Christ? If we go to him, we can find joy, true joy that doesn't depend on circumstances, satisfaction that can weather any kind of storm. And in him, we can find true contentment. So I just want to challenge us in seasons where we're tempted to say, well, once this quarantine is over, once stay-at-home orders are over, once we get to phase 2 or phase 3 or phase 4, then I'll be content. I would encourage us to not be so easily and quickly deceived into thinking that contentment is based on external circumstances. Contentment is based on our relationship with Jesus Christ. And so if we desire to be content, if we want to be content as we ought, we need to go to him, not sit and pine for circumstances to change.